So today we remember Saint Callistus the First. I know everyone's excited. Always everyone's excited about him. It's like it's on the top of our brains, the first saint we think about every day, right? And I think sometimes it's just these, especially these optional memorials we come through, and it's like, do we take the time to? It's like, I've gone into a couple cemeteries in the last week, and sometimes I enjoy just walking through and looking at the names on the headstones. Like, these were human beings with stories, with who experienced trials, but also successes, who try to pursue holiness. And so, it's kind of like, I keep wondering, I would love to hear their stories. And so Callistus is one of these, again, from far away, long ago, that we don't always think about, but I think it's important that we sit and journey with the saints. And so today, this is a man who trusted God's mercy, who faced challenges with courage, and helped shape the church with a gentle, steady hand. Now, mind you, remember, he's a man who became pope. So Callistus began life as a slave. Think about that. That's where he started. He eventually found faith and rose to become a leader in the early church, and again, eventually became the Bishop of Rome. And so his rise shows that God weighs our hearts, not our status. He saw that the church needed both truth and mercy, and he modeled a balance that points people towards Christ. And so he also had some critics, two of which, Tertullian and Hippolytus, were two of his major critics, well-known voices of the time. They didn't love Callistus' more forgiving approach to certain disciplinary matters, especially around penitence. See, they preferred stricter enforcement. So Callistus didn't abandon discipline, but he believed mercy should go hand in hand with correction so that people could truly change. So that tension, truth and mercy, was a real heartbeat of the early church. And so from that tension, we learn a timeless lesson. The church is meant to reflect God's mercy while staying faithful to the gospel. So St. Callistus shows us that leadership often means staying in hard places, guiding others towards conversion with patience. Mercy first, then that reformation of the heart. We're called to forgive first and walk with people toward repentance and healing, giving room for transformation to grow. He came from a humble background and served the whole church with a servant's heart. And so whether you're at home, at work, or in church, at school, leadership is about service and gentleness. The early church also faced danger and disagreements. Callistus invites us to stay grounded in prayer, the scriptures, and the sacraments, especially the Eucharist, which feeds and strengthens us for witness. And he also sought unity through reconciliation. Today, that means bridging divides within families, within parishes, within communities, through listening. Truly listening. I think so. It's this idea. It's like everyone seems so certain about their point of view that they want everyone to be on board, rather than, how about we just actually start without, let me just sit in a conversation with somebody and not try to make them agree with me. Can I just help them understand where I'm coming from? So if I can sit around with somebody like, I don't need to leave this conversation agreeing with you, but at least I can understand how you get to that point of view, even though I disagree with it. At least we've come to a better place. That's actual dialogue. Again, seeking to listen, no matter over what topic we're talking about. And then realizing, especially within the church, realizing we have a shared mission. If we're coming together, we desire salvation of souls. Why are we letting sometimes petty things get in the way? Can we at least be able to sit down and have an adult conversation, right? Whereas sometimes it's we have these huge spikes of disagreement over sometimes in the matter of things sometimes I realize what's more important in a given moment, to be correct or to the salvation of this soul? And I think this is where Callistus, when you start listening and learn to his life, it's that's where he's really he was trying to kind of work with some of the more rigid theologians of their time, it's kind of like that, you see it played out in Les Miserables, where Javert, the cop, he cannot reconcile certain things. He wants justice to be served more than the mercy of God to rest within Jean Valjean's heart, right? When you look at Javert contrasted with that beautiful bishop at the beginning of that story, here's a man who sees Jean Valjean coming out of prison, and he's still working, he's still figuring himself out, and he even commits another sin, steals from this bishop. What does the bishop do? Does he throw the book at him? He shows mercy, gives him a chance, and he does like Christ, but go and sin no more. So today, what does it invite us to do today? So just try a small act of mercy today. Forgive a minor hurt, or offer a kind word to someone who needs it. Or even just, maybe, I'm sure there's no small shortage of this. Are there people in our lives that we have difficult times, we have some disagreements with, and maybe, I need to be willing to sit at least to understand where they're coming from. Give them that respect, and hopefully they will respond in kind. Because see, when conflict pops up, let's choose the path of pastoral mercy. Let's listen first, speak truth gently, and invite renewal through grace. Let's reconnect with prayer and the sacraments. Let the Eucharist nourish us so that we can serve others more generously. And think about leadership in your own circles, whether it's in your families, your workplace, at school, volunteer groups. Let's lead with humility, serving others as Christ does. May St. Callistus intercede for us that we may live as faithful witnesses of Christ's mercy today.